Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah Kadash. And the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and His unbegotten Son, Bahashem. In the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, those are the true names in ancient Paleo Hebrew, the last scratch with the tongue. And I said, rock thumb to the elders and the apostles, Wa'akim, Ma'akwaf, and I said, Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson of the World War III news updates as of July the 27th, 2026 on this Monday night. And this is from Arab News. Like you had the previous talks between Lebanon and Israel about coming with a frame deal between Israel and Lebanon, because you've been having clashes been heating up from the previous years and as of recently in the year 2026 between Hezbollah over there in Lebanon versus the Israel Defense Force over there in Israel. It says the new round of Israel-Lebanon talks set August the 4th, U.S. officials say. The Israel-Lebanon framework deal emerged after a war broke out between Israel and Iran back. It says the Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah on March the 2nd against the back of the wider Middle East war. It says how the Ukrainian attack on Iran ships in Caspian Sea blurred the lines between the two wars. It says Syrian authorities strengthening fire prevention measures. It says right groups warns of mounting health risk in the wake of Israel's closure around Nablus. Right, because you've been having heavy clashes been heating up between between the Palestinians and the Israel Defense Force, because they've been having like heavy raids over there for these past couple of days, almost a week now. It says Yemen armed forces warn Houthis against continuing threats in the Red Sea security. Right, because tensions have been heating up between Saudi Arabia armed forces versus the Yemen Houthi rebel forces been heating up in that region, over there in the Mediterranean Sea, and over there in the Red Sea, and over there in Yemen as well too. It says Gulf and Arab states and Muslim world league condemns drones attacks targeting Saudi Arabia. It says Saudi FM discussed a regional security with UK, Qatar, and Kuwait counterparts. Trump says he's ready for military action if Iran talks fail, but there have been progress in talks between Iran and the United States. It says Iran says unalive 4 members of banned Kurdish groups. Right, because you've been having clashes been heating up between the Iranian armies, which the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and against the Kurdish armies over there in Iraq and Syria. It says Lebanon awaits Trump and Netanyahu talks amending the concerns over Israeli withdrawal. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24. So while these talks going to be taking place between Israel and Lebanon on August the 4th, and over there in Rome, I think Rome, Italy, that's where they're going to have talks between the Israelis and the Lebanese. And then you're going to have, while that's taking place, of the processing of the withdrawal of the Israeli soldiers, but you're still going to have clashes still going to be continuing to take place between the borders of Lebanon and Israel, between the IDF soldiers and the Hezbollah soldiers as well too, while the withdrawal of the Israeli soldiers are in the process, and while they have these new talks that's supposed to be coming up on August the 4th between Lebanon and Israel over there in Rome and Italy, they're going to have a new round of talks for the third or fourth, fifth time already. Because the previous talks they had it over there in Washington, D.C. Now the new talks they're going to have over there in Rome, Italy on August the 4th between Lebanon and Israel. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right? So we still hear wars and rumors of wars between Russia and Ukraine. Tensions are still mounting between Iran and Israel. And tensions are still heating up between these different armies of nations, which we see in our world today. It says, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but it's not yet. Right, so wars and rumors of wars still going to continue to increase, despite the fact they having these talks, peace agreements, trying to de-escalate tensions, which been going on for up and down, back and forth throughout the years and generations. So this is nothing new under the sun. But that's an indicator that we still going to be seeing wars and rumors of wars between these armies of other nations. It says Matthew 24 verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. Why? So it's going to come to pass, but not going to end just yet. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Why? That's what we're seeing from Russia versus Ukraine. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Ecclesiasticus 3 and verse 8. It says, in a time to love, in a time of HATE, and in time of war, and time of peace. So we still live in time of war, and we still live in time of HATE. Check out RT.com. It says Russia and the lead details a new strikes on Ukrainian shipping exports. Moscow has targeted fuel deposits and a vessel used to transport military supplies. Right, so the Russia and Ukraine situation is definitely heating up on a regular basis. It says that Ukrainian FPV drones hit civilians evacuated. It says Israeli settlers tours to mosque in West Bank. Why? Because you've been having heavy raids and heavy tensions heating up in the West Bank and the Palestinian territory in the Gaza Strip. They're heating up between the Israeli Defense Force heavy raids against the resistance of the Palestinians. So tensions have been heating up over in the area for the past couple of days. It says Russia icebreaker fleet with decades ahead of rivals. Who has said it? It says 5 unalive in the Ukrainian drone strike. Russian government has said. Check out some more news articles. It says a U.S. consultant in Toronto shot for a second time this year. And plus with many tensions between Canada and America, especially with the President of the United States and the Prime Minister, tensions be heating up, especially with the wildfires been taking place, and then with the trades between Canada and the United States, many of those tensions. Then goes to Matthew 24 chapter verse 7. says Moscow defends strikes on Russian supermarket at the hit a Russian warehouse. Why? Because the Russian-Ukrainian situation is heating up on a daily basis. It says a Navy carrier strike patrolling tensions filled with South China Sea. Right, because for the past couple of years and recently, tensions been sparking up between China and Taiwan, and tensions been flaring up over there in the South China Sea as well too. I just want to add that to it. And this is from the Washington Times. It says Navy carrier strike group patrol tensions filled with South China Sea. It says Navy conducted joint patrols for Philippines and Japan after a Coast Guard clash. It says this is published by Bill Gertz from the Washington Times, Monday, July 27, 2026. It reads, it says, what to know? Tensions arise between the Philippines and China over maritime claims. The Philippines conducted a joint military drills with the U.S. and Japan forces. China criticized the joint patrol as proactive and an invitation for trouble. It says the Navy deployed an aircraft carrier group on the contested South China Sea, amending the growing tensions between the Philippines and China. And according to the U.S. officials, it says the U.S. ambassador to the Philippines, Lee Lemton, says on social media that the USS George Washington and its advanced F-35 jets are upholding freedom in navigations and overflowing in the South China Sea. We challenge excessive maritime claims around the world, Mr. Linton stated on X on Sunday. It's the book of Luke 21 and verse 10. It's right. Things to come. Yahushua read 11. Luke 21 and verse 10. It says, then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. But right now, we've been seeing as the latest clash has been heating up between China and the Philippines, and then China and Japan that's been heating up as of late, so far the year 2026. And then, tensions been heating up down there in the Korean Peninsula, North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, United States, that's been heating up. And what along with the recent military exercises from both sides. So definitely tensions are heating up over there in the Korean Peninsula, and then tensions are heating up down there in the South China Sea. And then definitely tensions are heating up in the disputed territorial islands between the nations, especially between China and the Philippines. And those Southeast Asian countries trying to claim the rights of the disputed territorial islands not too far from the South China Sea. So as it read again from the Washington Times, Navy carrier strike groups patrol tensions filled with South China Sea. Navy conducted joint patrol with Philippines and Japan after China's Coastal Guard clashes. It's the book of Revelations 11 and verse 14. Matter of fact, running that Joel. This is the prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, like the armies of other nations prepare war. Look at the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near. Now, as of right now, tensions have been progressing between Iran and the United States, but the tensions are still going to be heating up between these different armies of other nations, especially China versus the Philippines, China versus Japan, South Korea, Japan, United States versus North Korea. And tensions are still going to mount up in the disputed territorial islands between these Southeast Asian countries. And you're still going to have the Russia and Ukraine situation that's still going to intensify. We're seeing that heating up on a day-to-day basis. And we're seeing Pakistan versus Afghanistan that's been heating up. We've been seeing Belarus and Russia together versus the European Union and NATO. And then we've been seeing the United States and NATO that's been heating up. So we're definitely seeing the tensions are still there between these armies of nations, despite the fact they're trying to push for a peace talk and trying to ease the tensions. But the tensions are still going to be there between these other nations. And we're still seeing war, evil, and a pestilence, especially these modern wars still taking place. So we're seeing these political wars, geopolitical wars, economical wars, nuclear wars, trade wars, sanction wars, you name it. It's many different categories, which is going to continue to see increasing. And this is Joel chapter 3, verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares and your swords, and the plenty hoods and the spears, and let them sound strong. Right now, we're seeing from the Houthi rebels rising up against the Saudi Arabian forces over there in the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea. So tensions are heating up over there in that area. And then we're seeing North Korea rising up against South Korea, Japan, United States. That's heating up. So we definitely start to see that to be something strong, especially these proxy groups and the pro-Iranian groups still rising against the Israel Defense Force and their allies throughout Western Asia. And this is the book of Revelations, chapter 9, verse 12. It says, the one will pass, behold, there comes two more hereafter. Right, so one will pass, behold, there come two more hereafter. Because we start to see the time of the Gentiles and harmless nations is almost up, and it come to pass being fulfilled. And that's why they continue to gather up over there in Western Asia. This is Revelation 11, verse 14. The second will pass before the third will come quickly. Right, so the second will pass before the third will come quickly. Armageddon, Armageddon one. So with that, hopefully this sit down lessons edifying of the World War III news updates as of July the 27th, 2026 on this Monday night. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Kakadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His unbegotten Son Ba'Shem. In the name of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew of the Lost Gospel of the tongue. And I said, Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles who are Akim Aqua. Until next time, I would say, Kwame Shalom and the Ball. Shalom.